I don't know how familiar are you with the situation we are facing at Slovenian public RTV. We've been on strike since May. Our main demand is depolitization of the institution of RTV Slovenia and the fight for journalists and editorial autonomy, because what we face is censorship and political takeover of the news program at TV Slovenia. The struggle for Slovenian public radio and television started a year ago in the news program and the multimedia center, because the leadership changed the chief editors, censorship started, political propaganda started. That's why we have been on strike, because we as journalists cannot fulfill our jobs. They want us to deprofessionalize, they want us to do the political propaganda. They erased all news programs that were critical. At least 10 of our colleagues left. Some changed jobs, went to other departments. In the news program of TV Slovenia, we are lacking around 50 people. Some are on sick leaves because of burnouts. We are facing smearing campaigns, also by our director. We've been attacked as a union. They're trying to criminalize us, and that's why we are on strike. And we've been on strike since May 23rd this year. We want depolitization of the institution, depolitization of our profession, and autonomy of journalism and editorial autonomy. And of course, we want also higher salaries for those employees who earn the least. And there are many of our colleagues who don't even earn minimum salary, and they're working for the public media. We believe that nobody in public sector should be a slave or have being paid under the minimum wage. We started to inform the public what is happening, what we are going through. First, we held press conferences in front of the RTV building. Then we organized as a union, and since we announced the strike, our membership rose for 50%. We became the biggest union at RTV with 460 members. The biggest challenge is, of course, there is no social dialogue. So we cannot achieve anything because the leadership doesn't want to talk to us, because we made a big fuss. We are the first generation of the journalists and the employees at RTV that have such a huge public support. It's important for us to stand up for ourselves and for the others. So we have to always take care of the weakest link in our community. And how can we be independent in our reporting if we stay silent when we face smearing campaigns or the threats from the leadership, or silencing us? If we accept being silent, then we are silent forever.
Okay, thank you so much.
Today when we speak about media freedoms, we are usually speaking about freedom of speech, or we are speaking about different pressures that our journalists face with coming usually from state authorities, from institutions and so on. But what we are missing constantly is the question of labor rights in the media. So this should be also, in our thinking, this should be also a very important part of our struggle for media freedom, and also it should be part of our struggle for labor rights, what is actually our main topic here. So we need to understand that if the journalists are not satisfied with their salaries, if they're in constant burnout, if they're working very long hours and so on, they won't be capable to create what we want to see as free media, as media freedom and so on. So that's why it is important to organize, not just as a journalist, but it's important to organize as workers in order to change what we have today in the media. We need constantly to include people, to speak with them, and to see what they see as problems and solutions. We should start with a small group, solving some kind of a small problems, and then going to a bigger problems. I think it needs a lot of time, a lot of effort to do this, to organize people, you know, to create this type of collectives, but it's not impossible.
The last 20 years have been extremely agitated for the media in Romania, but I guess they were extremely agitated for media everywhere. Apart from the, the national aspect, meaning politics and markets and new players coming and going, there were some systemic changes. One of them being, of course, the ascent of the internet that affected the business models of the media, and also the consumption patterns of the public. When people ask themselves why do they need journalism, is a very difficult time for journalists, because they see their social work not appreciated. And there is a need to provide the people with an answer, with a meaningful answer. This would be the job of the profession in an organized form. There are a lot of clickbites, because even the advertising companies are going again for audience, for public, for numbers, and are they do not appreciate the content, the quality. So we end up with overworked journalists, because they have to produce content again and again and again. Not very sure about their jobs, or the jobs tomorrow, and not very sure of the sustainability of the business they work for. There is this general mistrust in trade unionism in Romania, and the trade unions of journalists and media workers started very slow. But little by little, and against this mistrust, they did their job. They protected their members. Well, maybe they are not very visible. Maybe they are not very important. Maybe they cannot impact a piece of legislation by themselves. But they protect their members. And this is the main task of a trade union. So little by little, they gain this trust of their members, they help their members, and now people think of trade unions as a possible solution. Not very much enthusiasm yet, but there is a model that it works.